I'm here with Jennifer Rogers from Northrop Grumman. Thank you for joining us. You've just come off of the keynote theatre here at Space-Comm Expo, where you've been talking about digital transformation. So my question to you is, when you talk about digital transformation in a space context, what are we really talking about?
Digital transformation in a space context really is about the technology, but even more so, it's about the processes and tools that we use in order to develop that technology. So when we're talking about our designs, we're utilizing different systems like model-based systems engineering type systems, modeling and simulation, and really creating a digital thread through the data that enables us to build up things like a digital twin of our systems so that we can ensure that we have the lowest risk possible when we do insert something into space in order to have the highest chances of mission success.
I think many people assume space is already pretty digital in terms of the organizations that are working there. Transformation suggests that maybe that isn't uniformly the case.
That is not uniformly the case. There have been things in space for a long time. I mean, if you think about the first missions to the moon, that certainly was not a digitally designed system. There was a lot of handwritten code. And these days now, we have much more streamlined processes to be able to get us to develop our systems and develop our technologies. So you can end up with the same technology or the same capability, but the process to get there, the speed that you can get there, and the affordability that you can get there with really is a function of how much digital transformation you're implementing in your processes.
Another area that you touched on is very much in the news recently, big companies launching augmented reality type headsets. Tell me how they're being used in the space industry at the moment.
Oh yeah, so virtual reality and augmented reality is definitely something that a lot of companies, a lot of industry is using these days. Northrop Grumman specifically is using virtual reality headsets and motion capture technology. So you wear suits with the little bubbles on them to track your body's movements in a system that we call the highly immersive virtual environment. And what that allows us to do is to be able to place early designs into a virtual environment. And that allows maintainers, system integrators, and even reviewers to go in and work in the environment with those physical systems in their preliminary design state or even critical design state, so that you can realize things like, the maintainers need to be able to reach their arm back here to get to this component, to unscrew it, to remove it, to put something else on, or even just when you're integrating components together to build a satellite, being able to understand manufacturability concerns, supportability concerns, and even just general integration. It's much easier to do that in a virtual environment when you haven't yet built anything, and allows us to dramatically reduce the cost and reduce risk of us finding those things out much later when we've already built and designed hardware, and it's a lot harder to go back and start from scratch.
And coming back to the digital transformation point, speed up those iterative processes and end up with end products far more quickly and far more reliably.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can determine early on that you cannot, if you're looking at your design and you look at a 3D model of different systems, you can then have, for example, a manufacturing SMEs come in and look at it and say, oh, well, we can't, that's a great design. And you've engineered a great design, but we physically cannot build something like that big. You got to break it up into different pieces. Being able to do that much earlier on in the design reduces your number of design cycles so that you can get to that end product much more quickly and with a lower cost.